Earlier this week, the New York Times put forward one of the biggest fluff pieces imaginable on former White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Nowhere in this 6-page puff piece that they wrote did they mention that she was a habitual liar, but instead, the media did what they always do, and they did the best they could to rehab her image and paint her almost as a victim, when in fact she was one of the biggest villains of the entire Trump administration. The point of the piece, essentially, aside from rehabbing her image, is to gear her up and gear the public up for her probable run for governor of Arkansas in 2023, when current Governor Asa Hutchinson's tenure is up. Sarah Huckabee Sanders had hinted at this in the past. She hints at it even more in this piece. In fact, here's what she said exactly about running for governor. She said, there are two types of people who run for office. People that are called and people that just want to be a senator or governor. I feel like I've been called. It's the role I've been pushed into. I wouldn't want to do that if I wasn't the right person to fit what the state needed at that time. And it goes on to talk about how the reporter who wrote this story sat down and had some breakfast tacos with Sarah Huckabee Sanders. You know, because we're all human, we're all friends. It doesn't matter that she destroyed the White House press office. It doesn't matter that she got up there every day when she was holding those press briefings and lied to our faces, attacked CNN's Jim Acosta to the point where they pulled his White House press credentials. It doesn't matter that she had to admit to investigators that she made the whole thing up about Comey being hated by everybody in the FBI. I mean, under oath, she admits that she lied. But to us, the general public, the people who were paying her salary, nah, she'll lie to us all day long. She'll yell at media outlets and call them fake news. She'll allow actual fake news to come in and ask questions. She was horrible, and she is a liar. Here's the saddest part of it, though. She absolutely will win that governor's race in Arkansas if she runs. She 100% will win it. Her father, who was governor from 96 to 2007, still treated like royalty down there. And that's essentially what they look at her as. If he was the king, she is the princess. And she is next in line for that throne. And it's going to happen. And that's sad. And part of the reason it's going to happen is because you have outlets like the New York Times rehabbing her image for her, trying to make us forget about all the times she lied to us, make us forget about all the times she lied to the New York Times and called them fake news. Oh, that's water under the bridge. We'll send our reporters down there, have some breakfast tacos, and get this wonderful article. She then goes on to paint herself as the victim. Here's what she said. I was attacked for everything, not just my performance. I was called a fat soccer mom. My kids were threatened. My life was threatened. It was a lot. I hate harping on it, but to be in the position I'm in and to have Secret Service, that's not normal. I don't like being called a liar. The other stuff bothered me far less. You just said your kids were threatened, and then you go on to say that that bothers you less than being called a liar. So if you had the choice, according to your own words here in this article, which New York Times somehow didn't pick up on, you would rather your kids be threatened than for somebody to call you a liar. As a parent, father of 4, nothing in this world would bother me more than my kids being threatened. I don't care what you call me. I don't care if you call me a liar. I don't care if you make fun of my weight or my baldness. Happens every day in our comment section. Thank you, folks. But you come after my kids and we're going to have some very real problems. But no, not Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Nah, it bothers me when you talk about my kids, when you threaten them. Not as much as when you call me a liar, though. This is nuts. This is not a woman who has her priorities straight. The kids should probably be your top priority, but also let's do another thing here. I didn't even know you had kids. I, honest to God, didn't know you were married. Even though your last name suggests it, and that's just now clicking in my brain, I didn't know any of this. I don't know who your husband is. I don't know who your kids are. Because that's not anything we ever talked about here. That's not anything I've ever seen anybody else talk about in all the other segments about you either. We didn't care. We focused on the lies that you were telling us on a daily basis, the assault on the press that you were waging on behalf of Donald Trump. And that's what we're going to remember. So no matter how many of these rehab pieces New York Times or whoever else puts out, we're not going to forget. But ultimately, since those of us who talk about you the most aren't living in Arkansas, our voices may not have that much of effect. And so, willing to bet 4 or 5 years from now, I'm going to unfortunately have to be doing segments about Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And now you can also become a member of Ring of Fire and get exclusive early access to certain Ring of Fire videos all throughout the week. Just click on the little join button right below the video.